What's going on, family? What's going on? What's going down? What's shaking? Welcome to another episode of Super Black Comic Book Reviews by Jonathan Soul. Now, I got a groovy, super duper groovy one-shot comic that I want to share with y'all this afternoon. This is WindMaker, Birth of a King, coming from Roye Okupe over at Unique Comics, UneekComics.com. Of course, he brought us XO, that kind of like a Nigerian Iron Man kind of vibration. And, of course, he also brought us Malika. So, of course, I'm going to be sharing these. And to the folks on my YouTube channel suggested these. I've known about this brother back from the Kickstarter days. And I was on Facebook for a little while, and I tried to reach out to him. I guess our signals got crossed. But I will definitely try again to get our brother Roy on the program. But let's get into this one shot. By the way, I ordered these the other day. You just go to, Unique Studios. What is it? Here's his website right here. And then you can pick them up. He has some other offers there too. I just got these for now. I'll eventually get all of his content. And also he has an app. I didn't know that. He has an app too. So yeah. So definitely he has an app, right? Oh my gosh. Make sure I'm not getting shit confused. Yeah, I believe he has an app too. So anyway, all right, so let's get started. What is this about? WindMaker. Okay, it's a story of a king, obviously. It's like an origin story. It's nice the way he brought it, the way he kind of introduced the story. Before we go into, here's the people who put things together. Who put this thing together? That's who. These kind of folks. So what's happening? We got the king, in modern day. Got a bodyguard who got 1 day off a year. He's saying, what are you doing out here, fam? You should be home. You know what I mean? Et cetera, et cetera. You can't get no overtime. And so he basically starts, start a conversation. And they start talking about the person who the statue is memorializing. Okay. And so we get into it. So basically, now I'm not sure if the continent is called Africa. Okay. In these comic book realities, we have different, names for, the motherland. But in this particular comic, we see African people being besieged by a group of Asians that are coming. Now, we get into the story. We find that initially the contact was supposed to be about, trade and resources. But eventually, this general, is it Chang, had other plans. So let's get into it. We see the kingdom of Attila. So this is the kingdom of Attila, this whole land area. We see this brother who's the hero of the story, and we get engaged in the battle. Now, one thing I will say is that I really, really dig the costume design. And I dig their weaponry, okay? I dig the weaponry. As much as all of us was totally infatuated with the Black Panther movie, because very few of us actually bought the comic. When I saw, they're highly technological, that's cool, but then it's like their technological jungle. Is there really jungles in Africa? I thought that was the Amazon. And why they got spears still? Everybody else got laser beams, that kind of thing. So here we see some different weapons. They are period specific, but and the other thing is, look at the way he's dressed. Now let's be honest. Anytime in your life you think about African people in the early, so many hundreds of years, 14, 15, 1600s, you really don't expect them to wear a whole bunch of clothes. Let's be honest. So I think this is very intriguing, this character design here. Okay, now look at this. Now he was about to so he's fighting all these guys off with this, the staff, and he got to turn his back. Now you never turn your back. So now this brother is about to get taken out. And then we see some divine intervention here. Do you see that? Just briefly, some divine intervention. Now, every now and then in this comic, you will see this kind of momentary divine intervention. Why? Because this brother who goes by the name of Bass. This brother has a special connection with the divine, okay, with the divine. And then we see it here. Momentarily he has like a daydream or a vision kind of imposed upon him. And look at this. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Not since, as long as I've been black, I've never seen a black person and a dragon in the same frame. So this was incredible to me. I had a conversation years ago with our brother, Paul Louis Julie over at, Midas Monkey Comics, right? Remember Johansi and them? And he talked about how he had a conversation with an elder and that there were dragons in African folklore. And he wanted to bring that out. So to see this is kind of incredible. Now I'm not gonna go through the whole book. It's a one shot. It's not the most thickest book in the world. You know what I mean? If you want something on the graphic novel side of the game, then you'd have to, you have to look at Malika. But hopefully he'll bring this out. And by the way, if I didn't say it before, they're all in the same universe, okay? All in the same universe. So anyway, so he keeps trying to make contact with this mystical dragon, and the dragon's not having it. It's like, back up off me, man. So anyway, so he comes out of the dream, and then they find this map, I guess, on one of the soldiers' dead bodies or whatever. And so they're going to go and they're going to try to capture this, capture the Asian soldiers that are holed up in this nearby village. And so you see the spy or whatever, and he reports back. So then we see we're in an enemy camp, and then it looks like that map was bait, kind of a thing. And so they kind of go into it and so forth. But this is the thing I thought was interesting. He was like, General, we were sent here to build relationship with the Attillans. That's why I'm calling them. Foster trade relations and acquire rare minerals that cannot be found anywhere else in the world. Instead, we're killing their sages and provoked war. Trade and relations was the emperor's mission. I have mine. So he's after the dragon stones. So I kind of like what's happening here. You know what I mean? We just came off, a decade. Was it a decade of Game of Thrones? Was it really 10 years? I stopped watching after I stopped buying episodes on iTunes after season 2 because it just got too blue. You know what I mean? It got too weird and queer and all that kind of shit. I wanted to stay long enough to see the dragons, so I just watched the clips after. But the one thing that was beautiful about Game of Thrones is how they kind of balanced the mystical and the regular pedestrian, and then of course the dragons were always beautiful. So to see them bring dragons in here and to bring magic into it, but would it not be overwhelming? Because we're not really getting like a superhero kind of vibe here. We're getting more of a fantasy vibe on this comic so far. And so I usually stop halfway through. So they go to the village where Yang is supposed to be, and they're looking, and doggone it, Zhang isn't nowhere around. I mean, like this is the only flaw. There's a flaw. It's like the military strategy, but I think they did this just to move the story along. You know what I mean? Because it's a one shot. You know what I mean? If there's interest, I'm sure they'll build this out more. So of course, that was the trap. The brothers are here. The map. I think on the map it says "Gotcha, bitch." You know what I mean, on the back of it, and we see that they're surrounded. And so, of course, they're fighting to the death. And then they send one man to go warn the king, which is Bass, about, this technology they done walked into. All right. So I'm going to stop here. You can see that he went to this island, okay? He went to the island because he kept getting these visions from the divine. And so he goes to the island in order to pray and meditate and see if he can figure out what the deities are telling him, because he's trying to push this resistance war forward, but the divine keeps fucking with him. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, let me just go and pray and see what these gods are talking about. It reminded me of that line from Kanye. He said, I had a dream I could buy my way to heaven. I told God I'll be back in a second. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so again, he tries to make contact with this dragon, and the dragon is not having it, and he just doesn't understand why. And then we get this is why I bring up the Game of Thrones reference. So now he gets a raven with a message. Can y'all see that? With the message on his leg, and he finds out that his people is fucked up, kind of a thing. So I'm going to stop here. It gets better after that, believe it or not. It's already a good story. It gets better after that. But definitely you want to pick up WindMaker over at Unique Studios. And to be specific, it is, youneekstudios.com. Definitely pick it up. This has been a good book. I like this. I want to see more. I want to see a graphic novel. I want to see this broken out. And most of all, and it was hinted at the end of the book, which I didn't show you, but it's hinted at that they're going to make contact with Malika. So listen, I love you guys. Hope all your dreams come true. This is Jonathan Soul, jonathansoul.com. Go to Jonathan Soul to get all my content, my interviews, and my comic book reviews. And of course, you can go and follow me on social media. I'm on Black Junction TV, blackjunction.com, Twitter, Instagram, and eventually I'll build out the Facebook account. I'm an IT person. I hate the whole security shit with Facebook, but I eventually go there because that's the future. And by the way, if you would like to support the broadcast, I have a science fiction novel that I wrote. It's an ebook, right? So you can. It's in Kindle format. So if you have an iPhone, right? If you have one of these, I say, God damn, this is the original iPhone, baby. If you have one of these, you can get it on your a real iPhone, modern iPhone. You can get it on the Kindle app, and then of course, if you have Android, like I'm the one I'm recording on right now, you can get it there, and you can buy it on Amazon, get the app, and then you can read it. All right, and it's called Malcolm Mars by Jonathan Soul. Three families take their three brothers, they're engineers. They take their families to Mars in a homemade starship to build a whole new scene. And there's politics and aliens and technology and nuclear explosions and everything. So I think it's the kind of book that I wanted to read. It was not there, so I made it. Just like this broadcast. There wasn't people that were specifically focusing on African American, black people. It wasn't somebody that's specifically focusing on black people who own their stuff. Okay? Now I could break out, where is this thing here? Yeah. I could talk about this, but we don't own this. You feel me? Shout out to Reginald Hudlin. He follows me on Twitter. We don't own this. We own this. Right? We own this. And that's what I talk about. Because ownership makes the whole diversity conversation moot because you own it. You don't have to worry about begging somebody to let you in. You built your own door. You built your own house and put a door in it. All right? Now I'm going over. Love you guys. Hope your dreams come true. This is Jonathan Soul. Be good to yourself first. Then be good to your family and friends. Wear a motherfucking mask. Okay? Wash your motherfucking hands. Okay? Whether this is a biological weapon or not. We all want to be here for 2000, whatever. Okay? We want to be safe. All right? Love you guys. Peace.